Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Tuesday, guys. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as season. Got a quick word for you. Tap in. We shall see, because I always say quick, and sometimes the quick, quote unquote, quick recordings turn into like a 30-minute recording, but we shall see. All right, I just want to share this really quickly. You know how some people feel like, you ever met people who say things like, I wish I got to experience this. I wish I've had this. I wish I such and such. As in if they've lived long enough where that thing can never happen for them. So that's why it's important to change our perspective when it comes down to certain things. Because we typically, as people, tend to feel like, we create a certain image in our head and we feel like that's the way it should manifest. But sometimes when you change your perspective, you will really realize how God still was working, but it's just not the way that you see it or you saw it. For example, you may have not had a great relationship with your mother. Your mother may have been a narcissist. Your mother may have been on drugs. Like it just was a really, really bad relationship. Maybe you know that your mother loved you, but she just couldn't show you that type of love, and so you feel like, I've lived this life and I've never got to experience what a great mother is like, and your spirit yearns for that, right? Or you may feel like, I've never had a brother or a sister where I see like other people have that bond where it's like, you mess with my sibling, right? And it's like they're best friends. You hear people say things like their brother is their best friend or their sister is their best friend. And I know a lot of people like that, but there's a group of people who've never got to experience that. Or you came from a family where you didn't see a healthy dynamic of a marriage, right? Or a relationship. And that's something that you've always wanted to be a part of. And we can go on, but I'm sure you guys get the point at this point. And so now you're feeling like, I guess I just have to meet Jesus, and I've never got to experience that. Or I've never got to experience a parent who was affectionate. And I feel like I'm lacking that, and that's something I never got to experience. But God may, if He has not already, introduce you later on in life for the one thing that you're seeking and that you're yearning for. So that mother or that father who was a crackhead or who was just not there, your mother-in-law or your father-in-law may be that person. But you got to remove the cap. See, the cap will make you just see it kind of halfway, the glass halfway full. When in reality, God is saying to you, well, I know you didn't get to experience that for whatever reason. So I'm giving you that later on in life. So I'm giving you a mother-in-law who truly loves you like a daughter, but you're blocking receiving her love fully, because everything she says to you, you take it as a this or that, and really what you're doing is you're being triggered by the things that your mom did not do, etc., etc. So you think that your mother-in-law is attacking you or don't want to embrace you, when in fact it's you, because you can't remove that barrier to feel like, wow, God is really giving me a mother. No, she didn't birth me. But it's important to receive it now that God is saying, okay, I know that's something you've always wanted. In fact, you deserved it. You should have had it. But I can't go back and allow a mother to raise you now. You're 30, you're 40, you're 50. A mother can't raise you now. But I'm trying to give you that unconditional love. I'm trying to get you to heal those wounds, but I can't because you're blocking it. There's a block there. You're too afraid to let your guards down because you still are seeking it from your mother, where you may never ever get that from your mother, but instead change your perspective and embrace your mother-in-law the way that you desire to embrace your mom. Or if you had a sibling, one of my good friends, he may be listening, I'm not sure. But he has a brother who got hooked on drugs some time ago. And I think they were estranged for like 10 years. But when he speaks about his brother, I hear that love, right? But you know when people are on drugs, and I was trying to explain to him, and I'm not making any excuses, but it's hard for people to separate, especially when they were the one violator or the victim. Like he stole some money from his a lot of money from his brother when he was going through a really bad drug addiction. So as I'm trying to explain to my friend, I hear you. You have every right to be hurt. You have every right to be frustrated. You have every right to not want anything to do with him. But I'm also trying to get you to understand that when people are on drugs, it's truly not them. It's a spirit. So when they're doing, like, they will steal from their own mama. Why wouldn't they steal from you? It's about doing anything, anytime, any place to get that fix. That fix is all they're fixated on. They're not thinking about, oh, it's going to hurt you, it's going to harm you. Yes, it should be, but that's not how the addiction works. But yet when you speak about your brother, I hear the love in your voice, even though you're saying, I don't want to be bothered with him and such, he did this. But yet I still hear that love. So for those individuals like that, where you may have not had a sibling who you were close with, and many of my chosen ones, many of you guys were the outcasts. You might have 12 siblings, but you kind of always felt like you were, in your own corner somewhere, right? You didn't know what God was doing at that time. But I can almost guarantee you have a best friend who literally is like a brother to you, or a best friend who's like a sister to you, who God probably sent very, very early to you, probably in childhood. You may have been best friends since you were 6, and you're still best friends now. But yet you still feel that yearning of, well, I didn't have that great relationship with my brother or my sister. And here God has a whole individual who is most likely more loyal to you than your own sibling. But you can't cap it that they're not a blood brother. Listen. You can't choose family, right? You can choose friends. Family was given to you. And if most people are honest, you would not select some of the people if you had a choice, right? You wouldn't select some of the people who are in your family, especially if it's, some more narcissism or foolishness, right? But you're stuck there. And when you're stuck, you have a hard time receiving. So here God is trying to give you all these things. I'm sending your soul tribe. I'm going to send people to you in the next season who you may have only known for 6 months. But that bond, that loyalty, the way the spirit collides, is going to overpower any relationship that you could have had for 30 years with an individual in your family or a friend. But you got to get to a point where you're allowing me to move that way. So we block our own blessings because we keep trying to figure things out in the spiritual realm and try to figure out why someone is not as loyal as us, why people can't have the same heart posture as us. We couldn't choose them. They were given to us. And some of them were given directly from Satan himself. Generational curses are real. That stuff transferred down the bloodline. But God is now saying, I need you to lose grip on this is not going to be a quick recording. I need you to lose grip on the woulda, coulda, shouldas. Because where I'm taking you, there's a soul tribe that's designed specifically for you. But if you're hanging on to the woulda, coulda, shoulda, you can't embrace them. So when I bring them right in your face, and I'm trying to give you that mother you never had, that sibling you never had, that unconditional marriage or relationship that you've always yearned for. You were the one giving. Now I'm trying to give someone to you who's going to give you unconditional love, servitude, etc. But you're still hooked up on the woulda, coulda, shouldas. Release it. Release it. Because we're in a season now where things are flowing naturally. We're in a season now, if you're connected correctly, for some, you'll realize that God is either silent or he's telling you, job well done, now just chill. Let things flow naturally. No more toiling. No more trying to make things work. No more trying to understand why the past didn't work. It didn't work for a reason. But now because you're healed, now because you're whole, your soul tribe, the people who was always meant for you, the people who's going to feel like family in 5 minutes, the people whose spirits are so pure that when you're around them, you feel safe. You feel like something you've never, ever felt in your life. Relationships and marriages that when you walk out of the door, you know everything's good. You're not constantly thinking and worrying and checking phones and all that nonsense, right? It just is. But you gotta let it just be. Stop resisting. We're so used to protecting, especially my chosen ones, because we've been through so much, right? In general. Especially my individuals who've dealt with narcissist abuse. You're so used to protecting yourself. There's so many guards up. That God is saying this is a season now where I'm trying to repay you. But you're still so guarded. Because you're thinking about the past. That's the past. They're not coming back. They can't hurt you again. I got you. But you got to chill. You got to chill. It's ready. It's ready for you. It's waiting for you. But you got to chill. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.